Cancer sucks. I know this because I battled it twice and was once given 60 days to live nearly 10 years ago. Luckily, I beat cancer, and I'm very thankful for that. But what I've learned is life can change quickly. But there are some positives that came from it and some things that I learned that changed my life forever. I believe it made me a better person, a better husband, and a better father. And I really learned the secrets of life and really what the meaning of life is through battling cancer and facing death. So here are several things I've learned from having 60 days to live. First, stop being a people pleaser. The best leadership lesson of my life came from a doctor. They weren't sure if the chemo was going to take because they couldn't perform a biopsy. So they kind of took a blind guess based on my previous history with cancer, and luckily it worked. But I just asked specifically, how bad is it? And I saw that look on the doctor's face that she didn't want to answer the question. But it's her job to provide a diagnosis, and she did that. She didn't want to hurt my feelings, and she was brutally honest, and I gotta be honest with you, I respected it. I didn't feel bad for myself when she said you've got about 60 days to live if the chemo takes. She didn't hurt my feelings, and it helped me get clear on getting my life together quickly. And when you're faced with death, you're less concerned with so many other things that just get in our daily habits every day, and it helps you see life a little more clear. If you go to a doctor, you want a diagnosis, and she did that. If you have a broken arm and you go to a doctor, you want a diagnosis. You know it's broke. So then telling you everything is fine is not what you're looking for, and you'd respect a doctor less. I would often see a clown in chemo, because there was a lot of children there as well, giving out balloons. It wasn't a bad intention. The clown was there to tell everyone everything is gonna be fine, to cheer them up. But I wouldn't want to take advice from the clown. And I think at times, as a leader and a manager of people, and even a friend, I often didn't want to hurt people's feelings with honesty. And I was doing what the clown did. I was not being honest about situations with people, and I was just handing out balloons. Oh, everything's fine. No, you have nothing to worry about. People want honesty. And when they're asking you for your honest opinion, you gotta diagnose it the way a doctor did. I think my relationships with others really started to take off when I learned this lesson because I was reliable with my honesty, and people want you to be real with them. I learned what the meaning of life was when you're faced with death. I learned that it's about creating and enjoying moments and memories with people you love and maximizing our time to do so. That's all life is. It's creating as many great memories as you can for yourself and the people that truly matter in your life. Doing things you love to do with the people you love. When you face with death, you just want one thing: time. It's our most precious commodity. And I think I wasted a lot of time looking back. It's not about how many followers you have. It's not about that promotion you deserve or you didn't get. These are all external measurements. And I sometimes fall into the trap and think someone's got it better, or maybe I deserve that. But create more memories with the time we do have, not just for you, but make those memories for the ones that you love. Because if you're not around, what memories do they have of you? I learned there are two types of people in this world. People that actually care, or people that want others to think that they care. In fact, I quit social media because of this. My first time getting cancer, I put it out there and I shared about it. The second time, I didn't. And it was because of the reactions the first time I posted. After the first time, it was clear that there were people that reached out that truly cared about me and my family. They saw my post, I'm battling cancer, everything's good, positive, and I didn't give weekly or daily updates. I just kind of posted it once. And people would reach out. Like, I received calls, I received cards. I even had close friends that flew out to visit me when I was living in Minnesota at the time and got sick. I'll never forget everyone that picked up the phone and called me, or got on a plane to fly out to see me. I will never forget those people. The people I will forget, the people that would post about me, praying for Brian, and never had the audacity to reach out. The people that would post it and then take credit like they're some sort of hero. They'd say stuff like, praying for so-and-so, praying for Brian. And it's one thing to post about it, but when you see the comments of people that would respond to this person like they're some sort of hero, and then you see the comments in the chat saying, I'm praying for you and for Brian. Why are they praying for that person that posted that didn't actually do anything? And it became clear over time that there's a lot of people that are just not actually interested in being a good person. that they just want to look like a good person. And to me, there's nothing grosser than creating fake sympathy or selfishness over getting likes or comments for when someone else is battling for their life. If you are truly concerned with someone, whether it's mental health, wealth, debt, being laid off for a job, don't post about it. Pick up the phone and be that type of person that makes a difference when no one is looking. That's the type of person I wanted to be after that. I want to be the type of person that tries to make a difference in someone's life when no one's looking. Invest in your health. I was once very overweight and it was escalating, and about 13 years ago, I decided I was going to get in shape. My goal was to look good in a bathing suit. And I don't know if I ever got there. But what I realized is, like, you never know when you're going to be in the fight for your life. I had no one in my family had cancer, and the average chemo patient can receive a few hours over maybe 2 to 6 weeks. I had 180 hours of chemo. It was basically a full-time job for myself. And I remember I became friends with another cancer patient who was able to beat cancer as well. I saw him once a week. He was there for maybe an hour, and it was one of the hours that I treasured the most during chemo, because it was just somebody else, same age as me, same interest, going through it. But I started to notice something each week where I was there Monday through Friday, basically 9 to 5. He was there once a week for an hour. He was falling apart. And he wasn't someone that was in great shape or anything like that, but you could tell he didn't lift weights or run or anything like that. I wasn't falling apart. Sure, I lost my hair, but I was still continue to lift every day that I could. And there's some days where I was just sick, throwing up, and you're not motivated to get up and work out. And that's okay, you need to listen to your body. But I started noticing nurses and doctors were also complimenting on like how good I was holding it up. And they all kind of said the same thing. I think it's because of how healthy you've been and what you ate and how you're working out and you're taking care of yourself and you're focusing on sleep. And I truly credit eating healthy, walking and lifting for years saved my life. Because anyone that deals with that type of like size tumor, the size of your face, between your lungs, like you can't breathe, you can't chew, you can't swallow, barely eating, I was able to make a full, basically a recovery. It's because I was healthy going in. So train for life, not to lose 5 pounds, because you never know when you will have the fight of your life. So train for it. The next lesson I learned was don't live paycheck to paycheck, because life and cancer is expensive, and you never know when life's going to throw a curveball at you. We had approximately a few $100,000s to pay out of pocket that medical expenses didn't cover. We didn't have that kind of money in the bank, but we did pay off every single dollar after a few years. That's really, I made a video called Why I Live So Frugal. This is one of the things that made me live this way. We had to live below our means so that we could pay off the debt. We also started saving and investing, and life got a lot more clear to me what money does. It buys you security, it buys you time, and it gives you the ability when life throws a nightmare at you. Because when you have 60 days to live, you stop caring about stuff. You can't take the latest phone with you when you die. You're not concerned about having the latest car. You don't care what your clothes look like. You don't care if your shoes aren't made by Yeezy or whatever the hell is popular. Unfortunately, I didn't know that up until I had to basically be faced with hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical debt. You just want more time with your family and friends, and you quickly realize all that stuff that we worry about buying doesn't bring you happiness. I learned what empathy was. See, when you have cancer, nearly everyone wants to diagnose you or make sense of it. I heard some of the stupidest theories, including doctors. I had a doctor tell me they watched a documentary from Netflix, and it was about meat is causing cancer. So let me get this straight. My doctor is giving me a suggestion off of a Netflix documentary they watched. I've heard dumb crap like it's because you work out too much. It's because cell phones are in your pocket. That's what gave you testicular cancer. I heard protein powder. Me taking a protein drink once a day probably gave it to me. And do I pray? Because if I didn't pray, maybe that's why I got it. You realize like none of those things actually helps the person dealing with cancer, you trying to diagnose this. And even if it's not a cancer and it's like someone's depressed or anxious, trying to solve it does nothing. You can't make sense of it. Really, just sometimes shit happens to good people. But if you can learn what empathy is, that's truly what people need. I don't really care why I had cancer, what caused it or anything. I'm battling it and I just want to escape. for a minute. It doesn't help anyone solve it, and I just want people to listen and make me feel normal. Empathy is about not making it about yourself. It's about making it about the person you're talking to. People with cancer don't want to hear theories. They just want to hear, I can't imagine what you must be going through right now. I'm just so glad I'm here with you. That's a much better response than your doctor telling you they watched a documentary on Netflix and maybe it's because I'm eating meat. People going through tough times, whether it's cancer or not, they also want to escape talking about it. They see themselves in the mirror. I know me looking at my bald head was a good reminder that I had cancer every day. We hear enough from doctors. We just want an escape. Display more empathy with others, and life and relationships will get a lot better for you. I know it did for me. Finally, I learned set up your family. We were renting at an overpriced home in California at the time. We lived about 30 minutes outside of San Francisco, and we were paying an insane amount of money for really a pretty crappy house. Once recovering looked promising, and it looked like I was turning a corner and the tumor was shrinking, my goal was quickly to buy my wife a home so that she'd never have to worry about where she was living. I never thought of it that way. Like, I always just kind of thought of it like, well, you gotta get a house, you gotta enjoy it. But I never thought like, what if I die? Where is my wife gonna live? It never crossed my mind. But when that's your goal, what people think of a home changes. We chose a home significantly cheaper, and we took out a 15-year mortgage because we wanted to get a home ready to go. We were approved for over $1 million home. I didn't want that. She didn't want that. We just wanted a house that we knew no matter what was ours, and if I wasn't around, she was taken care of. Taxes would be covered, the mortgage would be covered, all of it would be covered, and she wouldn't have to worry about where she was going to live. That was my goal. I wish I had this mindset years ago to set up my family's future. Unfortunately, it took battling cancer twice for me to figure it out. But when we have time, you should set up your family to win just in case you're not around. Because the reality is life is short and none of us can predict the future. So set up your loved ones to have a great life regardless of your health. Thanks for hearing my story. I appreciate you listening. Comment on what lesson might have resonated with you the most, or what to do different if you have a loved one going through a tough, traumatic event in their life. Make sure you subscribe and like to help get this video pushed to more people that might be in need of hearing it. And I'll see you on the next video.